There's any traffic crashing bound to land from the southeast to land runway 31. There's the only traffic. Now some of you may be wondering what exactly it was that I just said, and what does it all mean? Well, let's break down the communication from front to back and from top to bottom. Now, the communication is bracketed by two phrases, Vaziani traffic. Well, this is who the communication is addressing, the airport Vaziani and the traffic around Vaziani. Now, the reason it is said twice, both before and after, is to ensure that there's no confusion as to who the communication is addressing. This is in case multiple airfields are sharing the same frequency, which is possible in dense airfield areas, and it's also possible when certain atmospheric conditions come together and radio broadcasts go further than they normally would. So, with that, you will have airfield, then traffic. In this case, Vaziani traffic. And that is addressed both before and after in case the first part of the call is missed or the last part of the call is missed. The person who hears the transmission knows it's addressed to Vaziani. The next part of it is who is calling. Well, my call sign is crash, so I will say Vaziani traffic, crash, identifying myself, letting people know who is it that is calling on the frequency. This can also be heard in civilian traffic by calling with the tail number, or in military it can sometimes even be called with the aircraft's board number, and that's mostly seen around the carrier. Next is inbound. This is referring to what am I doing? Well, I am making an inbound call to let the airport traffic know that I am not in the pattern, I'm not close to the airport, but I am nearby and I'm intending to go to the airfield. Now with that comes the direction. The direction that I am coming from is from the southeast. This is to give the traffic in the area around the airport an idea as to where I'm going to be approaching from. In this case, from the southeast. Next is what are my intentions? Well, my intention is to land. Land on what? Well, I'm intending to land on runway 31 at Vaziani. So, in a very short span of time, I have told the traffic, who am I addressing? I'm addressing Vaziani traffic. Who's calling? Crash. I am inbound, not at the airport. I am heading to the airport, typically 10 to 15 miles out. I am intending to land, and I'm coming from the southeast, and I'm going to be landing on runway 31 at Vaziani. All of this has been condensed into a very short, less than 10-second transmission, which when you understand what all of this means, it means a great deal in a very short amount of time, which is extremely useful with radios, as only one person can transmit at one time on a frequency. There's any traffic crashing bound to land from the southeast to land runway 31. There's the only traffic. Now I know what you're thinking. We already heard this part. Why do I need to keep watching? Well, what I want you to do is I want you to keep listening as we do the entire pattern around Vaziani with all of the proper airfield calls that you were supposed to make, including initial, upwind, break, downwind, base, and final. And then finally, when you clear the runway. Pay close attention as to how each call sounds very similar, but it helps anyone who is not in the aircraft help identify where the aircraft is in relation to the airfield pattern. Past any traffic crash entering the pattern on upwind runway 31. Past any traffic. Past any traffic crash in the brake. Runway 31. Past any traffic. Past any traffic crash on downwind runway 31. Past any traffic. Baziani traffic crash turning base to final, runway 31, full stop, Baziani traffic.
Altitude, altitude. Baziani traffic crash clear of runway 31, taxiing to parking on Delta. Baziani traffic. Hope this helps you guys with your communications at Uncontrolled Airfields, and I hope to see you in the next video.